Donovan Mitchell, Kyrie, anybody else. So
I don't think there's anybody who's going to call me this morning that would be engaged in a trade of any of those guys. I think all of those are slow-moving processes. So I don't think there's anything that would be imminent on any of those fronts right now. I think after Ayton, after the action yesterday with DeAndre Ayton signing the offer sheet, getting it matched almost immediately, I think there may be, sometimes these are famous last words around NBA free agency and deals, but I don't sense there's anything that's in the short-term offing among the big names you just mentioned.
DeAndre Ayton signing means what to the other free agents?
Well, you mean the other players who might be traded, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
that's okay. But it's almost like perpetual free agency. It's like the transfer portal in the NBA. I think it's harder for Phoenix. Not impossible, but I do think it's much harder for them to get involved in a Kevin Durant deal. I don't think Brooklyn necessarily had an interest in doing a sign and trade where they would have gotten Ayton and then extended him. But there would have been perhaps scenarios where Ayton could have gone somewhere else and it would have moved another asset to Brooklyn that maybe they were more interested in. So now you look at Phoenix and you can't trade DeAndre Ayton now. You can't trade Devin Booker. They weren't going to trade Devin Booker. And then you look down the roster. Mikal Bridges is an outstanding young player. Cam Johnson's a good young player. They've got picks. That may not be enough to kind of deliver the massive package that Brooklyn wants for Kevin Durant.
And I don't know if it's posturing, and you'd certainly know better than I would, but I still feel like Kevin Durant starts the season in Brooklyn. Am I way off base here?
It's a very distinct possibility. I think especially because he's got 4 years left on his deal. Kyrie Irving is still under contract for another year. That they don't just have to go do a deal that they don't love, and they don't love anything that's out there right now. And, I think for teams who would trade for a player like Kevin Durant, what you're balancing is if we just kind of gut our team of picks and good players and we bring Kevin Durant in, are we necessarily closer to a championship, or do we have Kevin Durant but not enough around him? There's a balance there, and Brooklyn wants to get back as much as anybody's gotten back for anybody. And so they can keep that posture right now because the season's still a ways away and he's under contract. And so, I do, Dan, think that it's conceivable that he's back, or at least, maybe at the start of training camp. But these things can change quick. They do. But I think right now the marketplace is, Miami has a difficult time. Miami is another team that would very much like Kevin Durant, but they're limited in the deals they can do. Bam Adebayo can't go to Brooklyn if Ben Simmons is on the roster because they both have those designated rookie max extension deals. You can't have two of those on a roster. So that means you've got to kind of move pieces around and it's made it more complex to get a deal done. Toronto and Brooklyn. Toronto has they've shown no inclination that they would put Scotty Barnes, the rookie of the year, in any deal with Brooklyn. I don't think Brooklyn's interested in talking to Toronto about much beyond much about any deal that didn't include Scotty Barnes. Now that's today. Could that be different a week or a month or 5 months from now? Of course it could change. I think that's where they are today in mid-July.
I've asked 4 different NBA insiders, analysts on the show, and all 4 didn't have a reason or an answer for the following. Why does Kevin Durant want out of Brooklyn?
I'm not going to try to speak for Kevin Durant. I don't think he's shared that certainly hasn't shared it publicly. I think in a very broad sense, I think part of the reason I think part of it is he hasn't liked how it's gone. He didn't